Well, hello, everyone. Lisa here, also known as EnergieGal, in the house, and your host here on the EnergieGal podcast, where storyteller and listener gather to share their stories, to be real, to be raw, to allow everyone else to be vulnerable, to be authentic, and invites everybody into a healing space. Yes, we're real. Yes, we're raw. We're also uncensored and messy and unapologetic in our vulnerability and authenticity. We're unscripted and mostly unedited. So thank you for joining us in this space. It's my honor and pleasure to be able to introduce you to someone who means a lot to me in my life. She is a creative. She's left of center. She's a daughter. She's the spitting image of her dad. She's a hard worker. She's open-hearted, a dreamer, an old soul, sensitive and kind. She's curious, compassionate, and courageous. She's still on her journey. She has remained faithful to the process of learning to stay. And finally, she's endured the depths of heartache and has remained steadfast to healing. She is such a big part of my life, almost like a daughter, and I'm the better for having met her at this point in my journey. May I introduce you to the one, the only, the brilliant and awesome Sydney Bigelow.
Thank you. So sweet.
Oh my goodness, all true, all true. So I want to thank you because I think that the discussion that we're going to be having is going to be, it's going to be moving for both you and me to be sharing a similar story, but also very transformative and inviting for so many who have experienced deep loss and are still moving through such deep emotions like grief and such. So I want to thank you for your vulnerability ahead of time and for your willingness to be here. And I guess I just want to precede this by saying part of me, Sydney, wanted to wait until maybe you were further along on your journey. And then I thought, but why? Why? Because I'm still on my journey of it. You know, sometimes when we talk, I think, damn, that girl's further along in this particular part of her journey than I am. So I decided, you know, there is no time and there is no, I'm finally arrived at the healing and I'm done. And it's made me realize that we're all on that path of healing, of not being broken, so we have to hurry up, be fixed, but of remembering our divinity and holiness and the fact that this is a journey and an experience. So anyway, I hope that that speaks to you and encourages others who think that they have to wait until they have it all together before they can finally start sharing their stories with people. So anyway, so where do we begin? Where do we begin, Sydney?
I think that at the beginning of 2021, I fell into some really poor habits of really taking care of myself, whereas I fell into some really disordered eating, and it just, like, I didn't realize, I've never heard of like eating disorders, really. So I was like, well, I don't know what this is. Like, I was dropping weight like crazy. And I was like, well, I changed my diet. So like probably December, January last year, I changed my diet and I was just like working out. And then it got like really, around my birthday is when like it just happened. I was like, okay, this isn't right. Mom's like, something's not right. And then we went a few more months. What's up?
Well, I was going to say, you went from about how many pounds to about how many pounds?
Yeah, I don't know about in that time period, but you mean forever? Like what was the highest, what was the lowest?
Mm-hmm.
The highest was 189, and then the lowest was 115,
Yeah.
116.
Yeah. When you came to see me, you're about 115, 116. So you came to see me, and I'll tell you, I took a deep breath because I hadn't seen you since 189, and you definitely looked, well, all of 70 plus pounds thinner. And I thought, okay, so with the experience I have, having, worked through and continuing to recover from disordered eating myself and just a dysfunctional relationship with my body. So when you and I first started, I thought, well, let's see what we can do. Let's see how I can be of help. And we talked about you going to the doctor, which was something that you were not open to at first because you just felt that you wanted to maybe try to stay away from that and get to what was really going on underneath. Mm-hmm. So we ventured down that. And I think that one thing that you started almost immediately was doing some journaling.
Yeah, I still like to journal. Mm-hmm. Actually start and end every single day with a quick journal. It's just what are you most grateful for? Mm-hmm. What's going to make today great, and then you end with what made today great and how could it have been better. Mm-hmm. It's just like good to really like look back, not just like, oh, this was good, but some days it's just like what was really good, and like it's the little things like, oh, I traveled safely to the store, or I like just the little things. I was able to eat 3 whole meals, 3 whole snacks, like just things like that. When you've gone through like many different things, it's just what you find mm-hmm. every day to be mm-hmm. good for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you wanted to be grateful right from the beginning, and you're kind and tenderhearted. What were some things in the beginning that you found, I think, helpful? Like in those first few months, what did we do together that was helpful for you?
We tracked what I was doing, both eating and moving wise, to then adding more, but not just like, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you're too small. You just need to eat like cookies or donuts and stuff like this. And well, that would do it, but that's not how somebody wants to do it when you're truly scared of food. Like at one point, there was not much that I was not scared of. Like I would eat the same exact meal, the same exact time. Like if the clock hit 7 p.m., I needed to be eating dinner, or else I would be, I don't even know, I would have major anxiety. Right. It needed to be the same amount of food, measuring cups every single night, and it was just not good. So we started adding, we were joking about it the other day, 1 almond a day.
You would send me a picture of 6 little almonds, and I'd say your homework for the next week, because we met once a week every Friday, and I would say your homework is to add 1 more almond. And I remember you showing me 7 almonds, and I said, did you eat all 7? And it was such a victory. Yeah. And we celebrated that little victory, though. I think the thing that I wanted you to know, and that you grabbed a hold of, is that if you need to stay in this very regimented way of eating with just these few foods, that's okay for now. It won't stay this way forever. But always thinking about what you were eating was a way for your mind to be occupied rather than think about some other things that it just was like, I don't want to think about those things. I don't want to feel those things. I don't want to go down that road. So I'm going to occupy myself with all this other stuff. And then, of course, the control issue. I can't control some of the things that happened, but I can control what I'm eating.
That's when I stopped feeling, I guess, numb.
Numb.
Yeah, I went numb for.
Well, can you tell us, when did you go numb and why?
Yeah, in 2018, I was at school and I got called down to the office. And I was like, you're calling me down to the office? Like, that's scary. I've never had detention. I don't know what's going on. And I turned the corner and my mom was at the school and I was like, okay, this is weird. And she's like, I got a call because my dad was in a nursing home because he had fell and hurt his knees. And he could have been at home, but I was too young to take care of him. It was just me and him at home. So he had to stay at the nursing home. And she was like, I got a call from the nursing home and they said that your dad has to go in for a heart test and they want to know if we want to be there. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. And I started like freaking out. I do not enjoy being at the doctor's for myself. I don't like visiting people there. I just, not my place. So I was like, it was all the way like probably 40 minutes away. So the whole way there, I was like, Mom, something's off. And she's like, what do you mean? I don't know, maybe she felt the same way, but didn't want to like scare me. She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I got like a weird feeling. And then we got there and we were like, we're here to see Dan Bigelow. And they all stared at us. We looked at each other and she's like, is he here? And they're like, yeah, the doctor will call you in. And then he just opened the door and was like, hey, you can come in. And we were like, okay. And they were like, I was like, do I need to go in there? And they were like, we're so sorry to tell you he's not here with us anymore. And I just don't remember a thing after that. I screamed and fell over. I think my mom may have caught me or something. She said, what do you mean? Like, that's not the call we got. And then, so I found out that he had passed away unexpectedly. I mean, I texted him that morning. Good morning, Dad. How are you? Went to school. What Mom brought me to school. I'm assuming I was in my first class and I just didn't even realize that he didn't answer. And then that was it. So after that, I just completely lost feelings for everything, but I didn't notice until I started to feel things again, which was 3 entire years later. Mm-hmm. So January of last year would have been 3 years. And that's when I started to feel things again. I was like, okay, I think the first 3 years I maybe cried twice. I just had no feelings. I was like, I can't believe like that's my dad. Like, and he's just, what do you mean? Like he's gone. He can't be gone. Mm-hmm. And then last year in January, I was like, it's real. Like I guess I realized, and I don't know what happened with the eating, but that's when I started to feel like, okay, this is real. And I could feel things and I would start to cry more. I would be able to like cry and know why, or that's when all this eating stuff has happened. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it started.
Yeah. What do you think about grief now that you're kind of online with and being plugged into the fact that that's what you're doing is you're experiencing this loss and grief? What would you say about it?
I would say that it's definitely comes and goes because some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, like my first thought forever is that I'm extremely lucky to have gotten to spend 16 whole years with him. So that's like really incredible. Like there's so many people who have gotten so much less. Obviously, I would like so much more, but I mean, 16 years, I talked to him every single day. I probably didn't see him every day, but like, yeah, texted him, called him every single day. And it's just like,
it's almost like you guys were doing triple time. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Like I've talked to my mom every single day of my life. I didn't see her every day, but we will always like text or call each other, whatever.
Yeah, I think your mom's your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, I give her a lot of credit for going through all this too.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is amazing. So trusting. Yeah.
I think that when I realized that he was gone, I mean, if you looked at a picture of us over the 16 years, both of us would be heavy set people and we would just be so happy. Like that's what people say. Your dad was so happy, and people are like, that's just like, that was Dan. And I think that's so true. And I think that our way of bonding may have been eating. Like, so maybe when I realized, oh, he's gone, maybe that makes eating a little bit harder because I don't want to, it's more fun with both of us. like So
definitely changed that dynamic in your relationship with food then, huh?
Yeah, Mom and I were laughing at dinner the other night. I was like, do you remember when Dad and I would like eat a whole dinner and then our plates would still be on the table? We're like, okay, ice cream now, right? And she's like, you guys just ate. Or like, yeah, but if we have ice cream now, it doesn't count as dessert. Then you can have more later. It's just
he was your partner in crime with that.
But when you're so used to doing it with someone, and then that, I don't know, like if you took your dog for a walk every single day on the same route and your dog passed away, you wouldn't just go for the walk by yourself and be happy. Like it's going to be weird. It's going to, I don't know. That might be a reason. Never true.
Good analogy. That's really insightful. So you actually had to relearn a relationship with food without Dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was never a concern. Like we didn't eat out or eat complete junk all the time, but we were eating plenty of food and we were never hungry.
Yeah, there was a real big, like it was just a huge shift in your life when that January came and you started waking up to really understand the reality of Dad not being here in this 3D, being out of his skin and in the next, and then what to do with that. So we did a lot of talking around that, and I think some crying, some you've done with me, but some you've done, on your own. And let's talk Epsom salt baths, because you know how I love them.
Me too. You got me to love them.
Yeah. So tell me about baths, because that's been a lot of what I've recommended for you to do, not only to get down into your body, but so talk to us about it.
I feel like that's when you can feel the most. Like, especially this past year. Well, I was so thin, I was so cold that just felt like a warm space, like warm, safe. Nobody's around. You can cry, you can laugh, you can think about Dad, you can think about anything really.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I encourage you to make it be like a sacred space, like light candles,
mhm.
get your favorite, bubble bath or flavors or Epsom salts and take some time aside and make this be like something that's a big holy occasion. And then get in the bath and give yourself permission to feel.
Sometimes I cry, sometimes I don't. It's just, you never know what's going to happen.
Right. I agree. It's very living in the moment and to know that whatever it is that's coming up is what's supposed to come up and it's perfectly good. No judgment, no even. I think because you're such a smart girl, sometimes we get lost in, I want to know why. And, sometimes we have feelings and we don't know where they come from or why. And even if we did, really wouldn't help anyway. So, don't spend too much time trying to figure that out. Spend more time just letting yourself feel,
Well, my mom and I have been grieving people for years. I mean, my granny and grandpa unexpectedly passed away. My papa unexpectedly passed away. And my nana, we said goodbye to her. So it's just been like, it's scary, but there's got to be a reason for all of it. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I noticed that when you send me texts, you send like a little cross. Is that your way of just saying I'm faithful? I just am faithful that there's a place that we go after this place or something.
Of course. I mean, no doubt they're all together. Like my mom and my sister are the only family I talk to that are still here. I talk to my aunt and uncle once in a while, but there's no doubt that they're all together. Like the closest family members who have been in my life my whole life have all passed away except for my mom and my sister. So there's no doubt that they're together, but
for you to be able to get up and say, today I'm going to still stay. I'm going to still work through, my different fears and my grief and my emotions. And you've done some really brave things. I remember when you came pulling into the parking lot with that car. I almost cried. You said, I have this desire to have this specific kind of car. And I
said, Mom, I'm buying a car. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going right now. She's okay. And then I had the car the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you put your mind to it, you little Aries sun and moon, you were like, that's going to happen today. Boom. I couldn't believe you came in with, I was like, oh my God, you already did it. You glowed. It's almost like there was a part of you that realized whatever it is that I want, I can go get it now. It doesn't mean there isn't work, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Anything.
Well, just like, how long did it take you to have that ice cream cone last summer?
Oh.
That says it all, folks.
I had one ice cream cone last summer.
I begged you. I said, please have the ice cream cone, because if you go into the winter without having that ice cream cone, it will make it be something that it's not, Sydney.
Yeah, I almost went the other night. It's still scary, but I think I know that there will be more than one this year.
I like how she's talking that. I love it.
I didn't even get one from every place, at least.
What do we do when you say to me, well, that's kind of scary? What do we talk about when things are scary? What do we talk about then?
Feel the fear.
Yeah.
And
what does it mean to feel the fear, Sydney? Like, make it be feet on the ground, practical. Someone is listening right now and they're like, wow, this is really speaking to me. And I know I'm afraid, but I don't know what she means by feel the fear. What would that mean?
I guess, okay, the fear for me has changed over since we've been working together, but back in July, I felt every time I went to eat that I was just I would feel like empty in my stomach. I'm like, obviously because I don't have food in there, but like sick. I go to eat, I'm like, you can't, like, you cannot eat. You don't deserve to eat. You feel weak, you feel everything all at once. Your mind is just racing with, you can't eat that because it's this or this
And
or
we
this.
talked about that voice in your head.
Yeah, it's not my voice. It's not a voice of anyone who would want the best for me. So
right. If it doesn't sound like God, that's not God's voice. You don't have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't give it attention. Yeah.
You cannot want the best for yourself and eat how I was eating when I would eat the bare minimum.
Oh, like that. So I got to go back and have you repeat it because that's pretty powerful. You can't finish that. You can't
do the bare minimum to get yourself to survive, but truly want the best for, like, thriving and surviving are totally different. And for a while I was holding on, like mom was going to bed crying because, wow, we're lucky we made it through today, or wow, mom,
day by day.
Don't do that to yourself. Like, that's not wanting the best for yourself.
So how do you get to the point though, Sid, when you say, I want the best for myself? How do you, like I say here, I said, she has remained faithful to the process of learning to stay awake to your feelings, to stay here in your body, learning to stay on the journey, even though it's uncomfortable. How do you get to the point where you say, I want to stay. I want to take good care of myself.
Basically, I got to the point where it was just terrifying to eat food in general. But what was more terrifying was opening my eyes and just laying on the floor. Like, oh, you passed out because you're not eating anything, or that's way more scary. So I'm choosing to go with the fear still today. Like, I don't know if it's ever going to be easy to eat, but I go to eat and I'm like, oh, this is scary. But I do not ever want to feel how I did for the entire year that I lived when I was just, so I guess you got to choose your scary. Like, because it's
hashtag choose your scary.
Yeah. If you want to do big things and do fun things and enjoy life, you have to take care of yourself and show up for yourself. Yeah.
I love it. I hear you saying that maybe everybody has some kind of fear. Everybody has some kind of scary. And that, for some people, scary would be to start eating again and choose to live and thrive, And what that meant also is staying online to feel feelings that you'd long tucked away, whether you realized you had or not, And that for other people, scary might be saying, it's about time I started taking care of myself and lost a few pounds, started to exercise, or the scariness of deciding that you just finally want to forgive somebody. I think we worked through some forgiveness stuff too. You had some unfair things happen, and the onus is left on you to remain in your power and say, what do I do now with these facts? I can't change other people, but I can own my perspective and choose to forgive to some degree and move forward. You know what I mean? So I think that's a lot of stuff too, hurt people. And
yeah, but probably if people would think about like life and how like literally precious it is, like,
there's a level of consciousness that we have, and you can only make a choice from your level of consciousness. So the more you wake up and understand how precious life is, the more you wake up and you understand how when you hurt, I hurt, when you're doing well, I'm doing well. The more we wake up to a love consciousness, the more we act like our true divine selves as love beings. But unless you are awake to that and you operate at that consciousness, then you're going to take everything for yourself because you don't think there's enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. See what I mean? You're still going to live from a place of poverty consciousness, of not enough, of scarcity. Rather, as you're coming into a space of going, but why would we hurt each other? Mm-hmm. You know? Why would we hurt? But it's tough when you can't have a conversation with people who can't hear what you're saying. It's tough to hang out with people who are vibrating at a different frequency than you are. All you can do is own your own decisions and your own choices on how to move forward. And forgiveness is the highest, one of the highest vibrations there is. I mean, you want to know what love looks like? A whole lot like, Dad, forgive them. They don't know what the hell they're doing. As you know, as Jesus said, hanging from the cross. I mean, it's true. People, you'd think that they would know what they're doing, but on some level, they must not. Relationships are the reason that we are here in Skin. I'm sure of it. And they're messy. And everybody's waking up and remembering their unity at a different pace. Everybody gets there. It's just that not everybody that were born into that particular family or clan wakes up at the same time. And so sometimes we end up moving on without them. Sid, looking back on it, where do you think there was a turning point? Or was there a turning point? Or has it always been gradual? Because here we are, March of 2022. Was there a turning point at some point?
In the eating?
The time that we've been together, yeah.
Probably this past month. I mean, we switched it. Like, we've been trying things for months and months and months and months. And there were some months where we were like, okay, look at all this.
That's 119, and you stayed at 119 for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The diet culture that we live in is disgusting, really, and thinks that everybody looks their best when they're small. Mm-hmm. And that is not true.
Girl, unpack, because you've got a message to give to these, 20-year-olds, though I think it's happening in 30 and 40 and 50-year-old women as well as men and really anybody. It's across gender and sex. But talk to me about this idea of thin is better and thinner is better and thinnest is, what's going on?
I remember celebrating, 50 pounds. Like, I lost 50 pounds. That's cool. I was like feeling really good, really, really good. I was working out. I was watching. That's when I started watching what I was eating. And then it was like it's called the weight loss high. And once you get on it, you don't want to get off. Every time I left my house, people were like, you look fantastic. You look so good. Wow, how are you doing this? And I was like, I changed my diet and I work out. And that was really good because I was at a healthy weight. I don't know, I was right around 140 probably. Mm-hmm. And then it just, because I was on that weight loss high, and everyone wants to leave their house and have people say, wow, you look so good. Like, everyone was, so it kept going. I was like, well, I'm smaller and I look better. So if I'm even smaller, I'm going to look even better.
It's better. At what point have you finally arrived and you're healthy and you can be done?
Yeah.
At what point?
We're trying to get back.
Right.
So
we do have a societal bend towards posting all our thin pics, You know what I mean? We get a lot of attention for that, you know?
Definitely not me anymore, because when you leave, that's when, okay, we started to notice, okay, you're losing way too much weight, Sid. Like, this is not good. Plus, you won't eat. Like, my mom is a good cook. She'll make stuff for dinner, but I'll be like, no, thank you. I'll have chicken and broccoli. That was all I would eat for a dinner. And that's because it was getting me to lose weight. I was just feeling so good. People were texting my mom and were like, Sid looks good. And I would still leave my house and everyone is like, you look so good. So it makes you just want to keep going, keep going. But
was it confusing because you did have some people saying, gosh, you know, are you okay? I mean, conflicting messages, you know?
Yeah. And then I reached my absolute lowest, and people like started commenting, not saying I look good, but started really commenting about my body. And so it got to the point where I kind of got sick of people saying that I look fantastic when I was feeling my absolute worst.
Yeah, very confusing.
I had no energy, I was just completely sad. I was just not feeling well, but I still would leave my house and everyone's like, you look so good. And I was like, if people keep telling me this, I'm not going to want to gain weight, but I need to gain weight.
It was definitely a confusing time. You know, I was talking to someone yesterday who said, I finally had to shut out the noise of other people's opinions and say, you believe what you want to believe, but I have to check in with myself to know what I believe is best for me and where my body lands. Whenever you've asked me, Elise, how much should I weigh? What's usually my response to you?
We don't know.
We don't know, honey. We don't know, but we can be curious. We can be curious. We are being curious because you have started to put some weight on.
Which is good. I mean, I do feel better, definitely feel better. I mean, whatever. Looking back in just this past from the pictures, I really didn't look that good. Like, if you really know me as a person, my energy and stuff is not in the pictures. It's not. And it's so much better to live life when you have energy rather than just feeling so skinny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather feel happy than skinny any day. So
hashtag.
Yeah.
I like how you say that when you look at the pictures, you realize that it was not who you are. Not that there aren't some thin people. I think that there are some naturally 112-pound people, but I'm not sure that that's your destiny. And that's why your whole countenance didn't vibrate and shine like you can look back on pictures now and say, wow, I was thin, but I wasn't me. You know, and that's why we are being curious as you up the calories, as you be careful about how much you're exercising, as you continue to do your Epsom salt baths and let feelings be, you know, and experience them. Do some guided meditations that help you stay in your body, and journaling. And the weight is coming on slowly, and we're being compassionate with the feelings that come up when the weight comes on. And you're being courageous to continue the journey of allowing the weight to come on until we get to the point where it's like, okay, I think I feel more like me.
I am choosing to put it back on because I could have stayed and lived my life so sad for the whole time. But being that life can stop at any second, why would I want it to be at such a low point? Like, I'm pretty sure my dad would not want to have left and been like, oh, I'm so sad that I was so worried about my weight all the time. Like, he was a happy guy, didn't probably never cared how much you weighed when you woke up. And that was on my mind. Well, it still is pretty much. It's way better. It's on my mind in a different way. So
what do you see your body as? Like, what is the use of your body? Like, why do we have bodies? And like, so you already, you know, well, why do
we create things in the world? Like, my body can move things, create things.
And I want to talk about that because I think that that has been part of why you've had some healing in this past 6 to 8 weeks, that it's remarkable. You've put weight on and we've turned a corner. You made a big change. You decided no more.
Oh yeah, I got a new job.
You got out of what you felt was just the end of that journey at that particular place. It was good until it just wasn't good anymore.
Yeah, the only good thing about it was the money. But really, if you really think about life, how important is the money? It's important, but there are way more important things than money. Like I got a job, and
you let the universe know I am open to a new job because this one feels like it's coming to an end and I don't want to do it anymore. It's not good for my vibe. I think it's keeping me in a tense place. So I am open to the new job, and by golly, the job showed up, you know.
Yeah.
And what other things have you implemented?
I've started this new up and putting time and energy into things that I enjoy doing rather than forcing myself to go on 7-mile walks so that I can eat dinner. I'm trying.
You've already earned dinner just by existing.
Go
for a walk, but it's not to earn your meal.
And that crosses my mind. It's like, you've already had breakfast and lunch and you're not going to exercise, you're going to eat dinner. I'm like, yep.
Because that is not the voice of God, so I'm not going to listen to it.
Right. What else can we do to fill our time? So I've been doing some things around the house, fun stuff like that.
Oh, come on, you need to unpack, because girl, you are talented. That's why I opened up with your creative. First of all, this girl can make food look so beautiful.
Okay,
that was the first meal that you sent me. And what was the meal?
To eat. I would cut the chicken in half and grill half of it because I could not eat.
Couldn't get the whole thing. Because then you would show me a picture of what you didn't eat. So I'm like, damn, girl, it was like 3 bites each. But we kept positive. And then
this is like one of those 100-calorie or 50-calorie bags of broccoli that I would put away and then scoop a little bit out.
Yeah.
And then I would do my whole dinner. And then I would go for a walk so that I could walk it off. This is the dinner I sent you the other night with potatoes, corn.
And there was nothing left. You ate it all.
There never is. Yeah. And I eat oatmeal every day.
Oh, oatmeal. Oatmeal is a good go-to. I call it my best friend because it's a good go-to. Oatmeal is safe.
So there's the first one. Not to bring up measurements because I don't think you should ever listen to a serving size. That's not a serving size of how much you should eat.
Yeah.
And here it is now, peanut butter, chocolate, and raspberries.
Oh my goodness, Sydney.
Gross.
Oh my goodness. We've done well. You know what I would love to do is I'd love to have you on again, because I want to really get into the nitty gritty of, we talked a lot about your journey up until this point, but I'd like to have you on again, maybe in about a month or so, because I want, and have pictures ready, and let's really do some nuts and bolts, realistic. How do we get, how do we get to a point when we are increasing calories? What does that look like? How did you make food look beautiful? What are some different food varieties, and how do you cook some things? Because I think that would be very beneficial. When I was going through my disordered eating, two things would have helped me. Number one, someone saying, I've been there, I'm not there anymore, you're going to be okay. And number two, this is the way that you can get it done. Not by exact diet, but by doing this with your food and then trying that. And not just saying all vegetables, lean protein, but let's try some oatmeal. You know what I mean? Trying some other things. So, and being open to that. So would you come on and show us some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a foodie. You could probably say
you
that.
really are. You really are. Beautiful. So, oh my goodness. She'd send me a little like, hey, I'm eating this now. And it looked like art that you eat. I was like, oh my goodness sakes, I'd eat that. It is gorgeous. So you just have such a way with the vision of things. And I remember telling you is that when you eat something born out of this creativity and love that you've created it and put it together. And then she would set up a beautiful little table mat and she'd have a candle burning and a beautiful straw in the drink. It made it a celebration. We could all learn from that. And she sat down and just relaxed into the eating of it so that her body would receive all the calories, you know? I mean, talk about eating love. Yes. And then you started really recognizing how sensitive you are to the atmosphere around you. And there were certain colors that you preferred over others, and even certain ways that the furniture was arranged, or even, certain pieces of furniture that like, this doesn't feel good in this space. You are just that sensitive. So.
Poor mom.
Yeah, well, your mom is, she's an awesome woman.
Yeah. Huh? She's here for the ride though.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, she's all in. But that bathroom, you redid that bathroom. That was gorgeous. I mean, who wouldn't want to take an Epsom salt bath in that tub? It was gorgeous the way you refurbished.
Thank you.
But yeah, it turned out really good. Redid the kitchen, the living room. I mean, you've really just taken it. It almost reminds me, Sid, of how you've kind of come back into your body and you're like, all right, I'm owning the whole thing. I'm owning all my fingers, all my toes. I'm going to own every single part of me. And I am giving it all a redo. We're going to reno the whole place. And, what's happening on the outside as you're renoing your house is kind of shows me that this is what you've been doing on the inside of you also,
Yeah. Scary. Everything's scary.
We've talked about scary a lot. Scary just means that you're brave. Scary doesn't stop you. It just means that when you do it, it's like, But I find that being afraid and being excited feel a lot the same in my body.
Yeah. Afraid leads to, I think scary leads to happy.
Yeah. Depends on, just my goodness. I told you I live my whole life afraid. I'm like, oh my God. Not that it stops me, but I'm aware when I go to do things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous about this, but I do it anyway. So, it's brave to heal, Sydney.
Yeah.
It's brave to put another half a pound on. It's brave to share your story. It's brave to be authentically you and vulnerable. It's brave. But think about people in your life who have been an example of that kind of braveness. I wonder if Billie Eilish ever gets afraid when she's got thousands of people there at a concert and she's going to get out there and she's just this young girl who's written some songs. And yet she's like, I'm going to go share these with the world. And some people might not like them or not understand them, but I'm doing it anyway. Mm-hmm. And the world is better for it. Mm-hmm. Certainly yours is.
Oh, that was so good.
That was a good concert. I love how you're like taking a picture and she's right behind you and you are front seat.
Best seat in the house.
A few people to get. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was awesome. But see, if we wouldn't have made the changes to do what's best for myself, that wouldn't have been as fun because I would have been there hungry, sad, cold. It's like when we were like, it's like driving a car and you have to stop at every gas station and put 50 cents in just to get to the next one. And then the next one, like just fill it up, put it in there and go.
See how far you'll go.
Fuel yourself and go. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's coming next for you, Sydney?
I don't know. You never know. That's the thing. Like tomorrow I'm going to be different than I am today. And so I'm trying to just be here now. I guess we're just finding the real life back. Like I was living. I was having softball. I was like playing softball, enjoying. And then that too, it was just gone. There was no, like the things in my life that I spent all my like time on, softball and my papa and my dad and my family, they were just like going. I was just woke up one day and found out that my school closed and it was just gone forever. I was like, never going to play again. I've been playing for like 12 years and they're like, nope. So I guess all of these things are just like, I'm very different than I was. Like, look back, I don't do anything like I used to do.
Yeah, you've definitely had we've talked about you being a caterpillar and eating, and then going into this cocoon and it's messy. Mm-hmm. And on that journey of going from a caterpillar into the cocoon and it's messy, and eventually it comes out and stays on the cocoon there for a little while and dries its wings and then flies off. Where are you on that journey? Where are you on that transformation?
No longer a caterpillar. I'd say I'm a butterfly learning to fly. Like I've probably like spread my wings, but haven't started like going yet.
Mm-hmm. They're still drying a little bit.
Yeah.
Drying a little bit. What would you say to somebody who finds themselves somewhere in that place and they're like, wow, either listening to you, they realize now that they've got a dysfunctional way of relating to their body or food, or they've already noted anyway. What would you say to them?
So be patient because you'll get there. And I still am being patient on like, when am I going to be able to go to someone's house for dinner and not be scared of what they're going to serve me? Like, it's going to be different from what's in my fridge. It's going to be different than what I make myself for dinner. And just be there now. Don't worry about every single, like, you got to lose control a little bit. That's really hard. I like to be in control of what I eat. But also, when you just relax and enjoy something because it's gifted to you, it's so much better. It's so much more fun. Like, if my mom made me a dinner and I didn't have to, cook everything for myself because I'm scared, or if I just relaxed, and it's not there to make you, like, food isn't here to make you be as big as you can possibly be, or it's not there to be scared of. It's there to give you life.
And you could say the same thing about your body.
Mm-hmm.
That your body isn't there to be whipped into shape and molded into a certain tiny little frame. That everybody has the destiny of having a different shaped body, and that's beautiful. And there are different stages in your life. Sometimes you're heavier and sometimes you're lighter, and just to be respectful and honoring of your body. And if you find yourself in a place of having a difficulty, to reach out and ask for help, because there is help out there.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest part, really. I mean, getting help is where you start. Yeah. I was like, Mom, I don't need help. I really don't need help. Like, I'll just start eating more. And she's like, but you're not. You've been saying that. Yeah. It's like, And then I was like, okay, maybe I actually should.
So to tell people that there's hope, there
Yeah.
is hope that if
will
you
get
find
better.
yourself, that to understand that it's a symptom of something that's going on inside. If you need to control every calorie, or if you're stuck to a certain way of eating all the time and you're just really struggling to be in your skin, there's a reason for it. That disordered eating is there for a reason, and it's not a bad thing. It's just something that begs to be heard. So get with someone who understands how to listen and help you learn how to listen and to understand that it is a journey. I've told you there are some days that I'm more scared than others when it comes to eating or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's all part of the journey. That's all part of it. So, like you said, we're all scared. You just pick your scared.
Yeah.
So, wisdom.
Yeah, I guess I would encourage people to stop commenting on people's body types. Like, no matter what it is, stop going to your friend and saying, oh, look, like they put on a little bit of weight, or wow, she's like really small. Be more considerate of what's going on in people's lives to make them be that way. Like, nobody's just gonna put on 40 pounds because they want to. Like, they're probably going through something and that's their way of coping with whatever they're going through. So be more concerned about what's going on in their lives mentally, cause their physical figure to look the way
That's really insightful. So rather than cheerleading someone who is gotten into kind of a radical space, maybe take them aside and say, did you want to talk about something? Or we're concerned and we don't want to laud you for all the weight loss because we're thinking maybe it's something else that's going on.
Yeah.
How can we help?
Now when I see people, they're like dropping tons of weight and they're on that weight loss high, I'm like, I hope that they're okay.
Yeah.
I was okay, but I wasn't really okay. So I hope that they find their happy ground before it gets too far.
Yeah. Their happy ground.
Yeah.
A lot of hashtags we could do. Hashtag happy ground. So thank you. I think you're destined for some pretty great things on your journey.
Thank you.
Bigelow. Yeah. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and your sharing, and your presence in my life has been amazing. So thank you. This is our story for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been an honor, dear listener. We all have a story to share. This is the truth. And I love the fact that when we share our story, that it encourages others and gives them permission to share their story. So this beautiful dance of someone is sharing, storytelling, and someone else is listening. That's the beauty. There need to be listeners while there are tellers. And so we come into this sweet and sacred space where the storyteller and the listener come together, and we encourage one another and we get real. And in that space, we help one another on our journeys, realizing that you never really quite get there because we've already arrived at everywhere we're supposed to be. So if ever I can be of assistance to you, my name is Lisa, also known as EnergieGal, and I am a holistic wellness coach specializing in disordered eating through credentials as well as my own experience. And I'm intuitively gifted, and so I help people on their wellness journeys in general. So links are below, and I appreciate your time and your presence here. And we just wish you all the very best. And I'll end with something I've been saying lately, and that is inhale deep, exhale long.